Welcome back to part 2 of Module 13, Lesson 1, Translations. We left off watching this video about coordinate notation translations. We have a few more things to look at with that. It says select each card to learn about coordinate notation used when translating a figure on the plane. So we can take a look at in words a horizontal translation of an A, meaning that's going to be point A. The image's x-coordinate is found by adding A spaces to the pre-image's x-coordinate. So it's not point A, it's how many points you move it one way or the other. And a vertical translation of B, with B being how many spaces you're moving it up or down, says the image's y-coordinate is found by adding B to the pre-image's coordinate. If you look at it in a model, you can see how they have taken in here, subtracted two A values, subtracted 3A values, your x-coordinate, and subtracted 2B values, your y-coordinate. In symbols, you would say that points x and y are going to become x plus A, comma, y plus b, and an example of that would be x minus 3. Remember, plus and negative becomes a minus, and x minus 2 that took place right here in this problem. Let's see if we can apply some of those. Example 2 says triangle XYZ has vertices of x at point -1, -2, y at point 6, -3, and z at point 2, -5. Write the coordinate notation of a translation of 2 units to the left and 1 unit up, and then write the coordinates of triangle x prime, y prime, z prime. Probably hard to see on some of your devices, but after each one of these letters there's a little tick mark, the prime mark, to indicate that this is the new triangle. So for this problem they say write the coordinate notation for a translation of 2 units left, 1 unit up. So your A term is moving left, that's a -2. Your B term is moving up, that's a +1. So to translate 2 units left are going to be to subtract 2 from each x coordinate, and then the 1 unit up is going to be to add 1 from each y coordinate. Check that. That part is checked for us. Next we're going to move on to the next part that says to put in your new value. So if this is your original point for point x, so x was at -1 minus 2, and we're going to be subtracting 2 and adding 1 to subtracting 2 from the x and adding 1 to the y. So our new x prime term, -1 minus 1, that's become -3. Signs are the same. Find the sum, comma, space. Our new y term was -2 plus 1. Signs are different. Find the difference. Sign in front of a larger number going in front of your answer. That gave us a -1. For the next point, we're going to have 6 minus 2. That's easy. That's going to be 4, comma, space. -3 plus 1. Again, signs are different. Find the difference with a sign in front of your larger number going in front of your answer. And for your z term, your new points are going to be 2 minus 2. That's going to be a 0, comma, space. -5 plus 1. That's going to be a -4. So that's going to end up being hit there. Check those answers, and that part's good. Now we're going to scroll down a little bit further, and you can see that triangle x prime, y prime, z prime has the vertices that you see listed right here. I'm not going to read them off to you because we've already done that. Now it's going to be your turn. Pause the video, work on extra example 2 on your own. Let's take a look at this together. The question says triangle DEF has these vertices here, and it says write the coordinate notation for a translation of 4 units right and 3 units down. Then write the coordinates of DEF. So the only one they're asking for here is for 4 units right, 3 units down. So we're going to set it up as parentheses right here. Is going to be x, 4 units right is going to be +4, close the parentheses, and then I'm sorry, my bad. That shouldn't be parentheses there at all if I'm doing this right. That's just going to be your x plus 4. And we're going to accept that. And then your y coordinate is 3 units down, so that's going to end up being y minus 3. We're going to accept that, check that part, and that part checked good. Now we have to take and actually do the math here. So let's get over here to our scratch paper, which I have right here, and we're going to do each of those problems using the Big Kid supporting work. So let me drag that down, drag that up. So point D was going to be 3, negative 5. So I have 3 comma negative 5, which is going to go to 3 plus 4 for our x coordinate, comma, and negative 5 minus 3 for our y coordinate, just like we did in our practice there earlier. That's going to end up giving me the new location. 3 plus 4 is going to be 7. Negative 5 minus 3 is going to be negative 8. Let's type that in. It's going to be in parentheses 7 comma space negative 8, except, and let's do the next one. Our next point was going to be negative 4, negative 1. Start at negative 4 comma negative 1, and once again we're going to move 4 units to the right. So it's going to be negative 4 plus 4 comma, and then negative 1, 3 units down, minus 3. That takes us to negative 4 plus 4 is 0, comma, negative 3 minus 3 is negative 4. So my next point is going to be located at 0, negative 4, which we can put in right here. Parentheses, 0, comma, space, negative 4, except that. And then our last one, we start at point 24. So I'm going to start at 2, comma, 4. That's going to go to 2 plus 4 for my x term, and then 4 minus 3 for my y term, which means 2 plus 4 is going to be 6, and 4 minus 3 is going to be 1. So that new coordinate is going to be located at 0.61. Plug that in. 6, comma, space 1, accept, and check, and all of those check. Nothing really hard about doing these. A little time consuming and cumbersome, but it's really not hard at all. For example 3, they say use coordinate notation to describe the translation. So we have this quadrilateral here, quadrilateral A, B, C, D, and we're translated it to A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. And they want us to use coordinate notation to describe how that happened. Let's take a look at what they want us to do. Let's see if it'll load here. It's trying to load. There we go. Move through the steps, and we're going to pick a point from the pre-image and its corresponding point on the image. For example, point 1 was located at negative 7, 6, while point A was, while A prime is now at 2, negative 1. So what they said was that the original point xy, your formula is going to be x plus A, y plus b. That's the same formula we've been using. And now what do we know? We know that they started at 0.7, right? X is negative 7, and we know that the y was going to be at 6. And we're getting all that information right up here where it says point A, it's positions. Next thing we need to do is we need to say, all right, the coordinate of the image are represented by this formula. You need to find the values of A and B. Since you know the coordinates of point A prime is going to be 2, negative 1, you can write 2 different equations to find out what the true values of A and B are. So moving on to the next point of information here, we're going to take and see what the 2 equations are. For example, we knew that the x value started at negative 7, and negative 7 plus A equaled the new point of negative 2 you see there. And that gave you the equation. Negative 7 plus A is equal to 2. We also knew our y value started at 6, and 6 plus B equaled to negative 1. And that gave us this equation right here. From here, you just treat them like all the one-step equations we've done in the past. I would like to see some quality supporting work here where you added or subtracted your values from both sides, but your new point, A is going to equal to 9, and B is, your translation was going to be a move to the right of 9 and moving down 7. So the formula you would end up putting for the moving to the right of 9, that's going to become x plus 9, accept that, and then moving down 7, that's going to become y minus 7. Whoop, that didn't take. Let's try that again. We're going to do y minus 7, accept that, and check, and the answer checks. Once again, not a really hard concept. It does require a little bit of supporting work to go with it. And now it's time for you to do your last practice problem before the homework. Go ahead and work this problem on your own. You're going to have to come up with your formula for translating from triangle VWU to V prime W prime U prime. Give me the good big kid supporting work. Looks very similar to what we just did. Now I will point out on the example problem, we only had to do 1 point. That was it. They only had to do 1 point on the example. You don't have to do all 3 points in order to create your formula. Before I get too deep into this, I want to start off by figuring out where my initial point is and where my starting point is. And it does not matter which point I do. If I do V, I go to V prime, W, W prime, U to U prime. That's all that matters. Beyond that, it doesn't matter which one of those points I pick. So I'm going to start with V, which is located at Superman runs before he flies, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the coordinates of that is going to be at point 2, 5. Meanwhile, V prime is going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, 1. So I have negative 5, comma 1. So that means that we're starting at point 2, 5, right? And we need to figure out, going from that, 2 plus A, comma 5 plus B. What's going to go into those values? Well, what do we know? We know that 2 plus A is going to equal to, what's the x value? Right there, negative 5. We also know that the 5 plus B is going to equal to, what's the new B y value? 1. And now it's a simple one-step equation, or two simple one-step equations. Start off by subtracting 2 from both sides on this one. Those two zero each other out, and that leaves, signs are the same, find the sum. A is negative 7, and for this one I'm going to take and subtract 5 from both sides. These zero out, and that's going to leave B is equal to negative 4. Now we're almost done. Now the only thing we have left to do is to take this part and come down. My new formula, 2, and it's going to be minus 7, your plus and negative 7, or minus 7, comma, to me, x, that should not be 2, that should be an x minus 7 for my formula for the x value, and the y value is going to be y right here, minus 4. So I have x minus 7, y minus 4. Jump back over here, plug it in. I have x minus 7 and y minus 4, y minus 4. Maybe verify that was my answers. That is my answers. So let's try that again. Y minus 4, accept and check, and the answer checks. Get busy on your homework. Let me know what questions you have in class tomorrow.